And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com. Go to the website, www.galacticfriedchicken.com. You can get the app from there. Go to the app. They will deliver right to your front door pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop. Or go down to Dayton, Kentucky, Wednesday through Sunday, lunch and dinner. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15% off of the Galactic goodness. It is out of this world. I had somebody hit me up on Twitter last night and said, hey, got Galactic for the family before the game. And I'm not saying that's the reason they won, but I'm not saying that's the reason they won. So you know the deal. All right, Aaron. Let's get to it. First off, a busy day on the football front. 3 commits as we are coming out of this final official visit weekend for the first window of the transfer portal. Transfer portal is closed. Players were on visits Wednesday through today. 3 of them commit. First off, Darian Varner, who was all AAC defensive lineman at Temple 2 years ago, had a Liz Frank injury, went to Wisconsin last year, never really fully recovered. But I'm out on Darian Varner, Aaron. We were up until 3 o'clock in the morning. We were up until 3 o'clock in the morning last night working, and he commits at 8:30 this morning. I'm out.
He didn't know. He didn't know.
Look, you got to read the room, brother. You got to read the room. No, but I did talk to some people up in Madison that I'm familiar with.
Can't imagine you have any sources up there.
Right, just 1 or 2. I know a guy or 2 up in that area, and it sounds like the Liz Frank just kind of, he never found his spot in Madison. They had high hopes for him. Sounded like he was a good kid, like, you know, did what they needed him to do, but just never really clicked in their rotation. But 7.5 sacks at Temple when he was healthy. And guess who his defensive line coach in 2001 was, Aaron?
I believe it was one Walter Stewart.
That is correct. So there is some familiarity there. One of the people I talked to said some Malik Van similarities, kind of a big power guy on the edge. Maybe not that, you know, long, twitchy guy that you're looking for, but you got to have, you know, the different types of guys. One of the reasons for, you know, half, 3/4 of the season they were so good against the run was because they had some power in that 3-man front. So Varner wants to get back to being more of an outside edge rushing guy. So he's going to be one that'll be interesting to me in the spring. But if I talk poorly of him, it is only because he committed at 8:30 this morning, and I have a hard and fast rule on looking down upon prospects that commit before 10 a.m.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously there was a hole to shore up with George Gums going to Florida, decommitting even after he signed at Cincinnati, and going to another school, because what are we doing here? But
yeah,
way to go, NCAA. Your rules made a whole lot of sense once again.
Yeah, I mean, I put something on the board today. I don't know if you saw it or not. Remember how everybody was freaking out about Sorsby, that USC had popped up in his follow lists last week?
I didn't know that.
Apparently, Lincoln Riley called him directly and tried to get him to official visit to USC this weekend. And he said, no, thank you. I am a Bearcat. You talk about winning points. Well done, sir. Well done.
Also, that would have been. Look at the train wreck, though, that was Caleb Williams this season.
Yeah, but look at Lincoln Riley's history with quarterbacks. That's the one thing I will say. If Lincoln Riley is sniffing around on your transfer quarterback,
look, man, Caleb Williams was supposed to be generational and did not look that towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, his offense, he was still pretty good, but when your defense is that bad, you got to force some stuff, and then you get out of your comfort zone, and not great. But Logan Wilson joins the fold as a transfer defensive back from North Texas. He started his career with Louisiana Monroe. He started his year at Kansas. It started at Kansas State, then Louisiana Monroe, then North Texas. Now it's Cincinnati. At North Texas, 112 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 8 passes defended in 2 years. So some depth, additional depth at safety, which has been a big focus of the portal this year.
How many years do Darian Varner and now Logan Wilson have?
I believe Wilson is only 1. I'm not sure on Varner.
All right. I'm sure we'll have plenty more on both of those guys tomorrow night with Brent.
Yeah. Yes. And then finally, a running back joins the fold. Chance Williams commits to Cincinnati. He was at Grambling State. 890 yards on 148 carries this year. He had 106 yards on 7 carries against LSU. 5'10", 170. Looks to be kind of that splashy, shifty home run hitter type. And Dave mentioned this on the BCJ account. His jump cuts are thick.
I would hope that he is a home run hitter type, as Coach made mention that he did not have any of them on the roster last season. And if he's bringing a running back in, he damn well better have some home run hitting power or prowess, if you will.
I mean, this looks like a change of pace type between Kiner and Pryor. Pryor's got some speed, the Ohio State transfer, but you'd like to have a guy that you can use on gadget plays and know that there's a chance when you get him out in space that he can go big time. So there you go. That means we are now moving on to college basketball. Yesterday, 7 Big 12 games, including the Bearcats. You and I both had a chance to take in quite a bit of the Big 12 action throughout the day.
Correct.
I think including the UC game. I watched the better part of 4 games throughout the day. We took a break to run up to Jungle Gyms. We hadn't been in like a year. So that's a dangerous place when you haven't been there and you need to stock up on some of those things that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, it's that.
It's like a $300 trip. But what can you do?
Easy to do there.
Yeah, very. Oh, that was what that we were only there an hour and we spent $300. Imagine if we had taken the 3-hour tour like you are prone to do when you go into that place when you have time. But anywho, started off Kansas 83-81 at home over TCU. The questionable call late that kind of flipped the game in Kansas's favor on the intentional or flagrant one that Hunter Dickinson got grazed in the cheek.
I saw the replay even today. I know I did too. I thought it was even more egregious today.
Nah, I still didn't think so. I think he was coming down and the ball got popped loose and your arms pop up. When you're doing this, the ball pops loose, your arms do this.
Him in the face. I thought it was a good call.
That bad. I didn't. But again, either way.
As we discussed last night, Kansas is always going to get that call.
At Fog Allen Fieldhouse, yes, absolutely. But take away from that game, TCU's legit. And
Sure.
I've said this for 20 years now. Jamie Dixon's a hell of a coach. His teams are going to play hard. They're going to have great guard play. Go look back at some of those teams he had at Pitt and the physicality that they played with. I'm a big Jamie Dixon guy. That TCU game is going to be a monster coming up in a couple weeks because they're pretty good.
Yeah,
To run with Kansas toe to toe,
sure,
pretty good.
Yeah. The fact that it did come down to that flagrant foul, and Hunter Dickinson had a 30 burger on top, a double. I mean, he's big performance out of Hunter Dickinson, big performance out of KJ Adams as well. I see why you have fallen in love with him. He is a dude. He does everything.
Yeah.
But Kansas excels everywhere, and TCU, they gave them their very best punch, and unfortunately, it just fell just short.
I mean, KJ Adams had 18 points, 10 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds, 7 of 8 from the floor, 4 of 5 from the free throw line. I'm just going to say it. He's my favorite player in this league to watch. I'm not saying he's not the best player in this league, but he's my favorite player in this league to watch because he is balls to the wall, opening tip to final horn. Like he's just the kind of guy
he goes.
The kind of guy we all grew up on. Like, let's face it. That guy plays like all the guys that we have grown up watching in this program. Yeah. So I love him.
And no threes. I love it.
Yeah. Well, he can shoot them, but he's not going to force them if he doesn't have it.
Gritty. Well, looks like we may have lost you here. So with that said, I guess we will look at West Virginia and Houston next. Houston beating West Virginia 89-55 to improve to 14-0. West Virginia falls to 5-9.
I'm back.
All right. Well, we just talked about the final score for Houston and West Virginia and their records. Yeah. So Houston beat the brakes off of West Virginia. West Virginia still
from a jump.
Yeah, West Virginia is still trying to figure out who they are with a new coach. They're still getting all their guys back and acclimated to.
I mean, look,
rotations.
Man. Raekwon Battle 1 for 9, 4 points. Noah Farrakhan 4 for 12, 9 points. Quinn Slazinski 3 of 11, 1 of 7 from 3 for 8 points. Cook, which, come on, that's not how you say that name. Only 4 points, only 5 rebounds. And then Kerr Carissa, 7 points, 1 assist, 3 turnovers. Those are supposed to be their best players. They were all an absolute unmitigated disaster. West Virginia shot 32% from the floor, 17% from 3. And more importantly, they allowed Houston to shoot 53% from the floor, 50% from 3, 9 of 18 from 3, and 85.7% from the line.
In their defense, they have to figure out their rotations. They have to figure all of this out in conference play. And
yeah,
it's not a great time to have to figure all of that out.
But some dudes have to at least be able to put the ball in the basket.
Sure.
They took a ton of shots. They didn't make any of them.
I want to use the term perfect storm, but I think it's just a storm. I don't even know. Perfect is not the word that I would use.
I don't know that they get out of it this year.
It's a stormy storm.
Yeah. Oklahoma continues to impress. They moved to 13-1 on the year, 71-63 over Iowa State. That game was pretty nip and tuck throughout. Oklahoma up 6 at halftime. They end up winning by 8. I still think Iowa State's got a chance to be pretty good, but they just didn't have it in terms of getting out of Norman with the win.
I think Iowa State, after what I saw yesterday, and maybe it was a one-off because I I will admit that was the first I've
Your first
laid eyes
Iowa
on.
State viewing?
Yeah, the first time I've laid eyes on Iowa State, but they looked to me yesterday on the slate as the most overrated 11-2 team on the docket. I don't know who they played. I did not do a deep dive or anything like that, but they did not scare me as I watched them play Oklahoma. And truthfully, Oklahoma didn't scare me either.
So Iowa State's a team that they're very perimeter oriented, that even their bigs shoot quite a bit from three. They were 3 of 16 from three in the game, and they only got to the line 11 times. So, yeah, I can see.
Lipsy looked to be one of their best players, and he had a terrible shooting day, going 1 of 10 for 4 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 fouls.
A lot of fives. Jackpot.
Yeah, a lot of fives there.
That was a slot machine. You'd have got some money there. 5-5-5.
But neither team really looked like they were anybody that I'm terrified of on this.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma defensively is going to be able to grind you out some and make. I think we
match up well with Oklahoma. Actually,
if your offense is playing well, then you can. I don't think their offense is anything spectacular. But they can slow you down and grind you out defensively. The main thing is you can't let them. If they hit what 10 threes, 10 of 25 for 40%. Mm-hmm. If you let them do that, you're gonna have some trouble. But if you can defend the 3-point line,
we let a guy hit 9 yesterday. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Moving on, number 18, Baylor moves to 12-2, 1-0 in the conference, 75-70 over Oklahoma State. This one's interesting because Oklahoma State they've gone young. They have not looked good to this point in the season. And then they get Baylor to overtime, where Baylor, gets a little distance at the end.
This was my favorite game to watch yesterday outside of Cincinnati.
Baylor's defense is not great. Their offense is really good. Their defense is average.
Oklahoma State might be my favorite team in the conference that's not Cincinnati. They run, they dunk, they were all over the place, and they were physical. And I thought that they were probably the most fun team out of anybody to watch. And they got some dudes that want you to know who they are.
Yeah. I mean, they were Garrison, they only shot 20%, 4 of 20 from three. So that's the type of team that you typically like.
I mean, yeah. I wonder what they were for dunks. But Garrison, Small, and Thompson were just fun dudes to watch play offense.
Yeah. That Oklahoma State team might not end up, they'll get a team or two in the top half of the league. But that's a team that if they can hold it together next year, they should have quite a bit of talent, as long as the administration doesn't, pull the plug on the coaching staff. Interesting one in terms of what's coming here on Tuesday, Aaron, as Texas Tech goes into Texas and wins 78-67. They were pretty comfortably up in that 6 to 8 point range. It felt like the entire game.
Yeah, this was a weird one for me. I don't know how, as Texas Tech, you even start, much less let him continue playing. Pop Isaacs, just odd. I was very surprised to see him in the starting lineup and continuing to play, and I'm assuming an investigation is going on in regards to what happened in the Bahamas. That all said, this is probably the worst thing for the Bearcats to happen, is that Texas loses in this type of fashion at home. And now they have to figure out what they did right and wrong in a couple days. I don't like when a top 25 team loses a game right before you have to play them.
I agree with that. The thing with this Texas team is, though, I don't know that they're that like big physical, like, okay, we're going to get this right, we're going to punch you in the mouth type team. They're a little bit more finesse, I would say. So it's going to be interesting to see what style of response they have. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like we knew, like, when UC played Xavier, they were going to be insanely physical. They had just lost at home to Oakland. They lost 3 in a row at the Centos Center. Like, backs against the wall. They weren't going to get punked. I don't know that if that's like who this Texas, like, I don't know if they have that in them. So we'll see. I'm interested in that.
Only a couple days before we find out.
And I'm with you. I don't like playing a good team coming off a loss,
especially at home.
Yeah. Well, especially on the road.
No, I mean, they lost. I'm saying they lost at home. How much harder is that loss to swallow? And
I know, but I'm saying if you're going to play them right now, you'd much rather play them here than to play them there.
Sure.
They're good. They got two guards that can go, Texas, but that Texas Tech team is a little underrated, I think. They're 12-2.
Joe Toussaint is very fun to watch.
And Pop Isaacs is never mind. Let it go. Let it go. Kansas State finally 77-52 over UCF.
Whew.
It looked like coming into the conference play that UCF and West Virginia were a few steps behind everyone else. That proved to be the case.
I was surprised that UCF was being even touted as highly as they were coming into conference play, because they weren't being, I guess I just didn't see this being the outcome where Kansas State just levels you. To lose by 25. Yeah. To lose by 25. That's not great for the Knights of Gold.
No. And guess who they got next?
I'm looking.
Kansas.
God.
Yeah. Hi, welcome.
Well, it doesn't get any easier after that, as they have BYU, then Texas, then Houston. Good God.
Welcome to the league, boys. Real quick, this week in the Big 12, Tuesday, this is the only problem I'm going to have with like Big 12 Tuesdays, is that UC plays and I want to be home watching games. Houston at Iowa State, Texas at Cincinnati, Kansas State, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. That one could be interesting. And then at 9, so I might get home for, the under 12 media timeout in the second half, but I have to be fascinated with what happens in BYU and Baylor Tuesday at 9.
I would agree. That's
and then
going to be one to keep an eye on.
And then Wednesday, Kansas at UCF and Oklahoma at TCU. That will be on as we are recording the BCJ podcast. You see me doing a lot of this. I'm watching that game.
George and I will be we'll be here on the network after he gets home from the game on Tuesday. Hopefully we start a little later than right after the pressers, as George is going to the game, and we'll see when he arrives home. He said if it's a blowout, he's going to be here on time, and if not, then he'll be.
I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be a good one. All right, that's what Sundays are going to look like now. We'll take a look at the weekend in the Big 12. Take a look at what's coming up during the week, and that's about it. We'll see you tomorrow night for the BBP, 8 o'clock. Come watch the national championship football game with us while we talk the BYU win and all that good stuff. That's a nightcap brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.